Ace Podcast.
This is the Super Co-op Squad Video Game Podcast, episode 91. On today's show, it's another Bro-Op episode. Joshua and I will be discussing the best and worst news of the week. We'll have our core topic discussing ads in our streaming content, ads online, and how advertisements are perceived in today's pop culture. And lastly, we'll be discussing our video game spotlight on Dead Cells and, of course, have our speed run. Welcome, one and all. This is the very first episode, but episode 91 overall.
The first
episode. The 91st overall first episode with us doing live video. So we're getting that thing going for YouTube. This is the Super Co-op Squad. You know us. We love games. We love movies. We love everything pop culture. Every week we sit down as friends, gamers, and just generally have a good time discussing pop culture and gaming. Before we hop into today's content, you know who we are. I'm Johnny Mac, and I'm here just riding with the Bro-Op, Joshua Gerard.
That's me. What happened to Garrett's supposed to be over there, but he gone. Bowser took him now.
He's sitting... Yeah, I don't know. He's got a thing for the SCS squad. Before we hop into today's content, guys, as always, we have a terrible spoiler of the week, and it's actually kind of rough because typically we go by rotation. It would be Garrett's turn. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's my turn again.
You did the intro, so it's intros and intros. Okay,
so terrible spoiler of the week. Spider-Man is not going to be in the Venom film.
Is that a spoiler?
That's pretty big spoiler. I mean, most people would assume, right, that he would.
I think there's going to be some type of nod or hint or like, hey, no.
I hope so. But there you go. For real spoilers, guys, make sure you check our show notes. You can go to scspodcast.com, and there you can look at all the notes we have available. It's also going to be a link in the details in the description of wherever you are listening or watching this, and you'll be able to click that. It'll take you directly to those notes. Okay, let's get into best and worst news of the week. Each of us picks one news story from the previous week, which we felt was either the best or the worst. And as always, we go worst first.
Worst first because it rhymes.
That's exactly. So what do you got for worst news of the week?
So I don't know if you heard, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is right now on hold because they can't find a director, or they haven't. I don't know. They got woes going on right now, and we talked about it either in the last episode or the one before, how James Gunn was invited, or they had a meeting with Disney. Right. Didn't work out. He's not doing the film anymore. Right. And now they kind of thought they had a director. Now they don't. And now Guardians 3 is kind of in a limbo right now. And I think, well, based on what we know, it doesn't tie in to Infinity War. That takes place after Infinity War. So it doesn't look like it's going to affect any of the movies that are currently in the MCU timeline. So that would suck if they had to like push back something else because of it.
Right. If like multiple movies got pushed back or had to have script rewrites because of this one thing.
Because that's part of phase 4, right? If they have a phase 4.
Yeah, this would be their phase 4. And this is actually my worst news too, that this whole thing with James Gunn has just been a dumpster fire. It should have been a very small thing, a slap on the wrist, and they made it so much more. And now it's affecting all these people's lives, their work, projects, the fans. It shouldn't have been such a big deal. It should have been something that was just, okay, this happened, we addressed it, we moved on.
Yeah, it's not going to happen again going forward, or get some type of commitment from James Gunn. I mean, he hasn't had any issues. He apologized, like, this was me in the past, this is not me anymore.
Right.
So it does suck, and I'm curious how this will actually affect the actors that are in that movie, because usually they're doing multiple movies. You know, Zoe's probably in another movie or
some sort of Star Trek or Avatar 9.
Mr. Quill's, you know, chilling in the Soul Stone in one movie, and he's probably working on a show or something. Maybe the next Jurassic World movie. So is that going to have conflicting schedules now because this particular movie is getting pushed back?
Well, a lot of the staff received notification that they were free to kind of project themselves out, so set their calendars for other projects in the meantime, which to me really means that they don't foresee in the next 2 to 6 months this being resolved, because I mean, that's how long it takes to film a movie usually, 2.5 to 4.5 months or so. So if you're telling your development team like, hey, you know what, guys, your production team, go ahead, you can schedule out whatever you need to, that means that you don't see a resolution in the very near future. So that's not a good thing for Guardians 3.
Right.
It might be, I mean, in the long run, maybe it's a good thing for Gunn. It could see them bring him back if there's a lot of turmoil. Maybe that's a possibility to kind of, stop the boat from rocking, if you will. So, yeah. All right, cool. We got the same best news or worst news there.
Yep.
So easy dub.
Cool.
All right, what do you got for best news of the week?
So, you know how much I like the Arrowverse shows.
I know where you're going.
Mine is Supergirl because I haven't watched Supergirl. I haven't watched it at all. But it has been confirmed that Superman and Lois Lane are going to appear on the DC shows in a Batwoman crossover event between Batwoman, which is going to be airing in the future. I think Arrow and Supergirl. There's going to be some type of crossover for that. So I'm excited to see that. I think Superman has made appearances in Supergirl. I don't know if Lois has been in that particular show or not, but I do like these crossover events. I do really enjoy the things that they do with interacting with the different worlds, combining them together, and seeing the actors in these different shows play off each other. And it did really well in the last crossover event with Crisis on Earth X. So I'm curious to see how this is going to play out with Superman being such a pinnacle character in DC lore and, not being primarily in any of these shows.
Right.
How is he going to make an appearance and how is he going to play a factor in it?
Right, and his power level and stuff like that. Because if you put him in the Arrowverse the Arrow, Green Arrow, he's going to dominate anything that he has to deal with. Like, there's nothing that Ollie would have to deal with that Superman couldn't fix in seconds. So how do you bring him in there?
Kryptonite?
I mean, that's the age old thing, right?
Yep.
I don't watch any of the Arrowverse stuff, but I can always appreciate that they've done a really good job of crafting that universe, building blocks and blocks and blocks up and up and up. And I just wish that the extended universe, their cinematic universe on the big screen could somehow take a note out of this page of what to do right, because the Arrowverse is doing it right. Like, they are establishing a great DC world bit by bit, and it's working. And I don't know what's going on with the movies.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that you started with Arrow, and then that bred The Flash, and then that bred Legends of Tomorrow, which bred Supergirl, and now we're bringing in Batwoman. Black Lightning came out, even though it's not tied to this particular universe, but they keep on inventing new shows based on not just popularity, but like what they've worked on before. Yeah. Arrow's going on season 7, I believe.
Oh my gosh.
I'm pretty sure it's 7 now. It's 6 or 7. I'm sure it's 7. Flash is going on 4. Legends is going on... No, Flash is going on 5. Legends is going on 4. Supergirl's going on 3. So they have a history and it's working because the shows haven't been canceled. And in fact, they're extending this universe. So
yeah, the only shows that haven't made it were Constantine, and that wasn't one of the CW shows at first.
Correct.
They've had a crossover, I think, or he appeared, I think, on Supergirl, if not mistaken.
He appeared, I think he might have done it. He's appeared on Arrow 3 different times, I believe. But yeah, he did end up, the same actor.
Yeah.
Played in, even though the show was not a part of CW, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is actually extremely cool. Yeah, they're doing a kick-ass job.
Yep. Looking forward to the next season. I wonder how Lois is going to factor into this, because it's Superman and Lois. So is it just going to be a guest appearance, a one and done?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to bring 2 characters to me would mean that they're going to do more than just have them be one and done. Maybe some sort of arc, maybe a small 4-episode arc, 5, because that's not enough time to really establish a relationship both with Superman and Lois, but then also with each of those characters with the other players in the Arrowverse. Yep. So yeah, we'll see. Okay. Good stuff.
So what's that's my best.
My best news is actually for a game I wasn't very interested in, but because of an announcement, my mind is almost changed.
Okay.
And that's for Jump Force.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. So at Gamescom, that's going on right now, they announced that a couple of characters from Hunter x Hunter, a manga anime that I really enjoy, they're having 2 characters, at least at this point, it's 2 characters. Hisoka, which is one of the villains, kind of a Joker-esque type character, just kind of crazy. And then, of course, good old Gon Freaks is joining the battle. He's the main character. You've seen him a million times. He's you've seen the type of character that he is. You've seen the Naruto, happy-go-lucky or Luffy from One Piece, just always happy, always nice, but then get on his bad side, he's going to give you a beat down. Like you've seen him before, but I just like this version of that type of character. it works really well for me. So
tell me that wasn't a really cool reveal trailer.
It was
very well put together. And not only that, I don't know if they introduced Vegeta before, and who's the big dude in One Piece that they showed off?
Oh,
I don't follow One Piece.
Yeah, that was Captain Blackbeard.
And isn't
Michael D. Teach?
Who's the other character that was in there too?
In the suit. So the suit that was Sanji, also from One Piece.
Yes.
So I was really happy to see that. Blackbeard is a character for One Piece. They don't really show a lot of. I mean, he's in the manga quite a bit, but you're still kind of learning about him. Like he's not to get too far in the minutia of it, but everybody else, if you eat one of those devil fruit, you have one power. That's it. But for whatever reason, he was able to cheat. He has two powers. He has like the power of darkness, which you had to watch the show. He also has the power to affect gravity, which he stole. He like someone died and he stole it from that guy. But anyway, it's sick. But yeah, having him in there is crazy.
I can't imagine how many more type of shows they're going to implement in there.
Yeah, man. I mean, they have the sky's the limit. I know they've already announced, they haven't shown, but there's going to be Death Note characters. Mm-hmm. So that'll be pretty interesting. But they have a lot of options. I mean, a Shonen Jump is huge. So, yes. I mean, I fully expect to see something from My Hero Academia. There's no way they couldn't.
Or maybe even, is Fairy Tail part of that?
Fairy Tail is a part of that.
Yep. I see Fairy Tail being the next announcement or something similar to that.
I can agree. Cool. Well, that is the best and worst news of the week. As always, guys, feel free to reach out to us on Twitter at Super Co-op Squad or by email contact@scspodcast.net. There you can let us know what you think should be a selection for best news or worst news of the week, and we'll be able to talk about that on air with you guys.
And Facebook. Hit us up on Facebook.
There you go. Look us up. All right, so games are putting on hold. Just blowouts make it a little difficult to have games. So we are going directly into our core topic for this week. And that core topic is advertisements. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll probably had one before this show here.
Unless you're paying to avoid it.
Yeah.
Like I am.
YouTube Red. There you go.
It's good.
So, YouTube has had it for a long time. There's a lot of rumors going around that Netflix might be adding some sort of advertisements in some way, shape, or form to their service. And then, of course, Twitch Prime has announced that they're going to be removing the option to pay for ad-free perks. Yeah. So, I mean, we're moving into an environment now where people were going online or buying services to escape advertisements. You were moving away from what you saw with cable or just primetime TV, and it's making a resurgence again. Like, what's going on with that?
I think really what it comes down to is these different companies or sites are really trying to get revenue a different way, because the whole point of having ads is for someone to have their product or name be put out there, and the other person is getting some type of royalty or some type of money from that. I pay you to put something else out there.
Right.
So I don't see any other reason why they're doing this. They're not doing this for us as, fans or people that are watching the service. I mean, we find it as a disservice because now we're in an age, especially where Netflix came from, where it's easily going from one station to the next seamlessly. No interruption. Just watch my show, next episode, switch to a different show. And that was it. And now it's like, okay, now I have to be interrupted with something. And it makes me a little bit more uncomfortable, where now I have to take a break, or I have to get up and grab the controller or do something different.
Right.
And I don't see any other way besides money.
Yeah. I mean, it completely is money, and it's really sad because, you're paying for this service for most of these situations. For Twitch Prime members, you're already paying for either Twitch subscription or you're paying Amazon Prime. If you got Netflix, obviously you're paying. YouTube's the only one that, and it's been out for a while, obviously, like we've all adjusted to it, but that's the one that anyone could argue, well, you're getting the service for free. You got to deal with what you got to deal with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm paying money every month. I shouldn't have to deal with advertisements if you never had it before, but it's completely greedy, completely money. And the way I see it is, you had a choice back in the day. You had the choice between cable and primetime TV, just network TV and the advertisements that come with it. Or you could kind of cut that cable, as they say, and you could pay money directly to a service, and there are no ads. But now people are moving to Netflix, and Netflix is so dominant and Twitch is so dominant that no one's ever going to go back to cable.
Right.
Or to network TV. They know that for a fact. So now they can go, okay, well, we've got them locked in. Doesn't matter what we do. People could gripe, complain. They're still going to stay. Mm-hmm. So let's get some revenue from those advertisement companies that are hurting and struggling from networks over with us. And what are they going to do? Go back to network TV? Nope. So
not in this day.
Right. So, I mean, honestly, we're between a rock and a hard place because what am I going to do? Like, honestly, if Netflix added advertisements, I'm not going to go back to cable. I'm not going to just cancel honestly, I would not cancel my Netflix service.
You just deal with it.
Exactly. I'd have to deal with it. And I think they know that.
Yeah. Which is a little bit different with what's happening with Twitch, which we'll get into that in a second. But I think here with Netflix, to your point, what's it going to do to hurt them? Like, they have such a big install base now and a consistent, repetitive, revolving install base that adding, and it's not for everybody right now. It's some viewers are now seeing advertisements in between episodes.
Yeah. So really quick to be clear, it's only in test markets. It's only between episodes. It may not even be any advertisements. It might only just be ads for their other content. There's really not a lot of information as to what it's specifically going to be. I don't even think they know for sure what they're going to do. They're just testing the waters.
Yeah. You know, it would be terrible if they added it, advertisement in the queue when you're like searching for stuff.
Yeah.
Like, here you got that little corner is that one little ad you don't really pay attention to when you visit a website. It's
right.
Just stuck in that side.
Yeah.
You have to wait 5 seconds before you can click the X button.
You click the fake X and it takes you to a new website.
Yep. I hate it.
Right.
No, but, I mean, for them, it's just, okay, we can get this revenue. And think about it. It's a smart move because you have some people, some businesses that want to get their name out there. They want to get some clicks. What better way to do it in an install base that's over how many subscribers?
Yeah, I think over at this point, I think they're over 100 million.
Yeah.
So yeah,
even if it's one click, like for them, that can mean something for X amount of people.
Right.
So I don't really see it as a bad thing. What this will do though is if it becomes to be a bigger thing where now it's just in every home, everybody has these type of ads, they're going to have an ad-free subscription where you pay an extra $3 a month where it's ad-free.
It's a possibility.
I mean, that's how YouTube Red came about. And it came to a point because I watch virtually everything on YouTube. And it came to a point where the ads were so bad, it was very frequent. It was multiple times within, say, an 8 to 10 minute whatever. And then there were some ads that were 6, 7, and even 10 minutes long.
Right.
So I'll be like driving, or even sometimes when I was riding my bike, and all of a sudden I get interrupted with an ad, and I can't click to skip it because
you're driving.
Yeah. I'm doing something with my hands, and then it's like, oh, I got to listen to this 10-minute ad about why you should go to this grocery store and buy a certain type of organic fruit. So it's just like,
yeah. I mean, I think the only difference there is with YouTube. They don't have another like guaranteed revenue stream, right? Like it's free to begin with.
Right.
So they only are making money through advertisements and a few other means.
That's true.
Where Netflix, you have my $12.99 or at this point, I think it's actually $13.99 for my subscription every month. You already have a revenue stream, a great one. So you don't need to necessarily add the advertisement to make a bunch of money. Now, what I think they're going to do, I don't think they're going to add an option for you to choose if they go with ads, which we don't know, obviously, but if they do go with advertisements, you're just going to get them because what they're going to do, they're going to just have those companies pay lump sums of money up front like network television does. Mm-hmm. Like they don't, they pay whatever X amount of money. You get this time slot. Boom. There you go. That's what they're going to do. I think because there's no reason for them to have another tier. They already have 2 or 3 tiers,
Okay.
But yeah,
I got a thought. I got a theory. Now, this is all skepticism, but there are people that are putting stuff out there. And I saw something recently on Facebook today or yesterday about how binging can affect you either mentally and I mean, there's people that watch shows 10, 12 straight hours. That's not necessarily good for your health if you're not taking bathroom breaks, you're not eating right. So what if they're also doing this in a way where slipping an ad in there makes you get up, makes you do something else rather than it's just straight episode.
I mean, I would like to believe that they're that altruistic and care about my health and well-being, but I can't see that. I mean, there are other ways to do it. They could put an infomercial, right? If their goal is to help me be healthy, rather than pay Tide or Colgate or, local grocery store for an ad for 35 seconds, why not put a thing with like someone from Netflix going, hey, this is just a quick reminder. Take a break. You know, your show's still here. We'll be back. And maybe like a funny thing with like, maybe the show you're watching, if it's a Netflix original, like BoJack Horseman, like, hey, this is BoJack. Like, you know, that would show me, okay, you're making sure I'm healthy. We're getting a break. It's funny. And, you know, maybe I will get up and go to the bathroom. And then I know you're not just making money off me. They're not going to go that route. They're going to go with the advertisements. So
we should tell them,
right? That would actually
get a little piece from us.
Yeah. You know, hit up the Super Co-op Squad. We got some good ideas for how to, you know, drive revenue for you, Netflix. You know, but let's get into other stuff. So, I mean, Twitch Prime is removing, you know, their ability for you to have no advertisements. Why? Like, what? Twitch has such a strong hold on just the streaming market. Why would that be an option for them to do that?
I think it's dumb because what this does affect, it doesn't just affect the streamers, it affects the community, because there's nothing worse than boosting up Twitch and then you, for a split second, see what you're watching and then it's 30-second ad.
Right.
And now I have to wait. Like, say, like, I'm big into fighting games. Everybody knows I watch the tournaments. I'm like, oh man, I'm late. I got to watch this tournament. All right. They're about to go. 30-second ad on whatever.
Right.
Whatever type of, you know, pill or something. So, and not only just that, just why would you do that to in this particular sense, a gaming community where there's no ads when it comes to video games. There's no ads when it comes to these type of services. Even, you know, for anything loot boxes or microtransaction, like none of those have ads that interrupt the flow of games. So for them to do this, to have an ad-free perk, specifically you pay to not have ads per subscriber or per channel. And now you're removing that. So it not only affects the streamers, it also affects the viewership. And there are actually some streamers that were not allowing ads to be on their channel because they're taking a look at this and they're just saying, we don't support this.
Right.
So at least I like that the community is gathering together to have a say in that.
Yeah. I don't necessarily like this just because it almost seems counterintuitive to what the internet was for, you know, because there's no streaming services you can watch on television. It's all through, you know, internet services. And this is why people do that, because they can view things that they couldn't before. And so, you know, you're taking one of the worst pieces of why everyone fled network television and popping it back in. I feel like that's just that's just creating now a situation where there will be another avenue of people are going to go to. Once Twitch and YouTube are the mainstream, like, okay, this is the establishment essentially. Someone else is going to try to step in and be the new YouTube or the new Twitch and kind of go that route. I mean, that's what I see. Yeah,
we're going to a lot of different things that are changing.
Yeah. Do you see yourself cutting anything that does add advertisement? Like, could you theoretically remove yourself? If you paid for Netflix, would you do it?
Yeah, because I don't pay for Netflix. Maybe. I don't know if it's that detrimental to my viewership to change anything. Now, YouTube the ads were so bad that I paid for YouTube Red, so I wouldn't have to view ads anymore. And it's changed everything for me. Anything from music to videos to sports stuff to video game stuff. That is a big difference for me. Now, if there's a subscription service for Netflix or something else that say you pay this to remove ads, depending on how bad it is, but I don't see myself removing something because this was so far-fetched of a change that now I don't support it at all.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know. It's tough to say. You know, I know that this happened with Hulu. You know, they gave you options for you to be able to pay more to not have advertisements or see, you know, significantly less. I didn't pay, so I just dealt with the advertisements once they put those in. And at the time, it didn't make me, you know, unsubscribe or cancel the service. Since then, I have not gone back, and part of it is because there are advertisements, because I know that, you know, it's not easy to just watch my shows. So I feel like it might have, maybe not in canceling Netflix now, it wouldn't change anything, but in the future, it might change what I decide to do. Like, if the Disney streaming service that's popping up has ads, will I go with that? If I'm looking for a second one, would I go with that, or would I go with Hulu?
Right.
I don't know. Like, it'd be difficult. Or some other company that's not doing ads, I might not choose Disney.
The way I see it with Hulu, it's it started out where it's just shows. So what makes it different from network TV when you start adding ads in TV shows that are exclusive to a subscription service?
Right.
It's like there's no difference.
It becomes very, very similar. Yeah. I mean, I mean, there's still some benefits. You know, you can watch it when you want. You don't have to wait for it to pop on TV.
Yeah.
But yeah, you start becoming very close to what you were trying to escape at that point. So, yeah. All right, guys, well, that's what we had on advertisements, and because our thoughts on Netflix maybe going that route. Let us know what your thoughts are. You know how to reach us. Contact at scspodcast.net, or reach us on Twitter at Super Co-op Squad, or join us on Facebook as well.
Do it.
All right, so our video game spotlight. Every single week, the group takes a look at one classic game, legendary game, a modern game. Could be any game from any point in time that we've had some time with ourselves. We'll take a look at the game, discuss our thoughts, our opinions, our feelings about it, and maybe go into a little bit of what we could have done better had we had the opportunity to give our own feedback. So today we are going to go ahead and discuss Dead Cells, the indie game that released just early this month in August, developed by Motion Twin Studios. It is a Metroidvania action adventure platformer type of game. Definitely, you know, a different sort of a game, a little bit of roguelike elements in there as well.
A lot of bit of roguelike.
Right. So this is a game I think we were all interested in. Garrett, I think, more than anyone. And it definitely ran away with our interest. I mean, it took off.
Yeah. So, not only did it take off, it took over.
Yeah.
Took over for me. I'm sure it took over for Garrett. Sure, it took over for you.
It did.
You're messaging me like, what's the last stage? Like, bro, do you want me to spoil it for you?
I had an idea. But yeah, so I mean, what was your thoughts on the game before it came out? What interest level, and then kind of hopping into it, you know, first few times, what were your initial thoughts on the game?
What I thought Dead Cells was a game called Messenger, which is different. That's coming out later this month, because that one's like a Ninja Gaiden like clone where it's 8-bit and 16-bit combined. I thought that was Dead Cells, but then I looked into it and I was like, no, this is the other game I was interested in. And I'm a big fan of the Souls series, so difficulty was not a thing for me. I like challenging games.
Right.
And the roguelike, I've never really played a whole lot of games that had a roguelike experience. So it definitely caught my interest, and I definitely like the Metroidvania type of theme. I definitely feel more of a Castlevania vibe than a Metroid vibe for sure.
Yeah.
And then just really getting into it from the beginning, I was like, okay, this is interesting. Platforming, retro look, I get it. I love it. And then it started to take off from there. The more you play it, the more you hate it. But then the more you hate it, the more you enjoy it.
Yeah.
So it definitely has a cycle to it.
Yeah. You know, for my part, I wasn't too aware of the game. I knew what the game was. Mostly because, you know, Garrett Laney, the other member of the Super Co-op Squad.
R.I.P. Garrett.
We're coming for you, buddy. He was highly interested in the game. And it didn't really hold my interest too much, but it began getting a lot of great reviews. And, you know, I looked a little bit more into it.
And re-reviews.
Yeah, and re-reviews. And I guess what it made me actually take a look to actually purchase it was the fact that I had picked up Hollow Knight, which is also a Metroidvania that's on Nintendo Switch, on PC. I wish it would come to Xbox One, but it's not yet. I really enjoyed that, and I'm like, okay, maybe this one will be even better because that's what people were saying. Mm. I picked up Dead Cells, and, you know, at first it was a little rough for me just because it is more like Castlevania, like you said, than Metroid or Hollow Knight as I'm playing. The jumping mechanic, you do have a double jump, but it's like limited. So the jump is almost like a short hop. Mm-hmm. So it took me a while to get used to it because it wasn't very floaty. And I'm like, okay, this is really kind of different. And for my first few runs, you know, it takes time for you to ramp up to get an understanding of like the different abilities, the different weapons, even getting weapons, you know, was a little bit of a challenge. So I was having a lot of low level stuff. But that quickly changes. And from there, I was just running with it. You know, so next question would kind of be like, where do you find the enjoyment? Like, where does this game stand out in comparison to other Metroidvanias or, you know, platformers like that? Because there's a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And I feel this one really stood out in a way that seems hard because there's so many other clones of this.
There's quite a few things that stand out for me. Number one, it's a game that we understand from a platforming perspective, from a you grab this item, you go here. But the environment just the way that the whole thing is procedurally and randomly generated changes everything that you know about the game, where every time you go into the level, there's something different. Nothing is exactly the same, or a lot of areas are different. Weapons are different. So just that alone makes it feel like a new and fresh experience. But then also the way that the weapon system works out, where it's kind of like Borderlands in a way where there's just a ton of different items and weapons that you get. And the way that that works is you defeat enemies, then you end up picking up, Blueprints. Thank you. And the way that the system and the gameplay works is you have to finish the stage to talk to one of the merchants to unlock the blueprint. And then you have to collect enough cells from the dead enemies. That is also random that you get those to permanently unlock the blueprint. Therefore, once you do that, then it is randomly generated in the stage somehow for you to use that weapon.
Right.
And then that is scaled based on damage on, randomness too. So everything has a random element to it, which makes the game a lot more fresh, a lot more free flowing. And it does change how you look at the game from not only from a perspective of, do I want to change my build? How do I want to level up? Do I want to use this weapon for this level? It's almost like a meta in itself, where it's based on the randomization. How do I play this now?
Right.
And what can I project myself to look at in the near future?
Yeah, for me, a lot of that holds true. The thing I look at, especially, is the fact that, I'm a dad now. I've got 2 kids under 2 years old.
Beep, boop.
Time is limited for me. So I don't always have time to, play an Octopath Traveler and put in 65 hours in the game. I just don't have that free time as much. But I do have an hour and a half here, 45 minutes there. Like, I have that time to put in and maybe burn some time. And, I can grind through a longer game, but sometimes it's fun to try and really just go through a game like Dead Cells and, play for 30 minutes and see what I can do. And that is what Dead Cells is. It's a game you can pick up and you can play for 6 hours doing run after run after run. It's also a game you can pick up and do a run or two for 20 minutes and die and move on. And I like the fact that it builds like an RPG. You have the beginning where you've got nothing. You've got the middle where you're getting a little more powerful and learning your tools. And you got the end where you're getting gold tier items and crazy rare blueprints and just burning through with powerful items. And you can do that in a 30-minute run. That was cool to me.
Yeah. And speaking of running, there also is a little gameplay twist there. There's timed doors where if you get to the door in a certain amount of time by speeding through the game, you will unlock that door to get almost guaranteed dead cells, or cells, I should say, and then a power up or sometimes 2. So it adds a little risk reward because now you're speeding up to get these items, but then you run the risk of not having as many power ups as a build because you're speeding through. And that's another element in the game too, is where you can build your character based on power, technique, or health.
Yeah, so let's get into the mechanics there for a little bit. So I think one of the interesting things is you have 2 weapon slots, then you have 2 special ability slots, and that's it. Now, some of those things can't interchange. Like, there are some powers that can work as a special ability and some that can work as a weapon. I believe like 1 or 2. But you really only have, again, 2 weapons and 2 special abilities. But the sky's the limit to mix and match because you have dozens of weapons and dozens of special abilities that you can utilize. You can go with all weapons, short range melee. You can go with magic. You can go with bow and arrows. You have shields. And then, of course, you've got like traps and stuff that you can mix and match and make your own gameplay, like you said. And it's very interesting that they did limit you. You only have a few slots for abilities, but you can go almost any way that you want in regards to what you keep and what you don't to make every run different and every game different than other people who are playing.
Right. I actually like that because if you look at any traditional RPG or an action game where you have, say, 10 different power-ups, you're going to find the 3 or 4 that you like or work best for you, or the most powerful, and then that's all you're going to use. You're probably not going to use all the ones that are on the lower tier because there's no point. Everything else is so much better.
Right.
So in this game, it limits you to 2 and 2, where you have to actually decide, do I want this or do I want this? And that really does affect the gameplay. It does affect the meta on the game, and it really changes. Like, okay, I have this fast wielding weapon where I can do quick slashes, but this heavy weapon does a lot more damage, but it's hella slow.
Right.
So do I sacrifice the speed for the power, or do I sacrifice a bomb versus a trap where it can actually hold the enemy? So there's definitely a lot of different gameplay styles. And what makes it so great is at the beginning, you really are pretty much naked. And as you unlock blueprints, you unlock different items that you eventually will keep permanently. But then that allows you to, and it even entices you to try out new things throughout that time frame.
Yeah.
Because you can't use it until you actually unlock the blueprint permanently.
Right.
And there's so much more to that, especially for buffs and stuff too.
Yeah, it just keeps going. Like I don't know how far the upper limits are going to be for unlockables, because some of those things took a lot of cells, like 300, 500 cells. Like
that's just base stats too. But like I have it where I have like 30 something blueprints I probably have yet to like actually pay off to permanently unlock. But what it does is throughout the game, as you level up or as you get to the higher levels, you can have the same weapon that has different stats in level 1 versus level 6.
Right.
So you can be super weak in the beginning, but if you do a different encounter or a different run, it can be super powerful in the end based on the randomization. So it allows you to pick and choose what you want to do.
What's your loadout?
My build?
Yeah, what's your build?
So I beat the game once, and when you beat the game, it unlocks another difficulty that you have an option to choose, similar to Dark Souls, but in Dark Souls you can't choose; it forces you to stay in that difficulty. So I almost beat it a second time, but I got caught. So the best build for me is building the traps.
Yeah,
that's the only way to really. So I have the buzzsaws that you throw on the ground. And then the other one is the aromatics or whatever, where it launches all the little arrows.
Yeah.
And then I usually have some type of quick sword and anything that shoots ice as my sub.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty similar. The traps are definitely the way to go in regards to just surviving and being able to play long range. I use those, I don't know what they're called, double cross-o-matics that can shoot an arrow, like you said, either direction, left or right.
Yeah.
But it does it both. So if there are enemies on both sides, it'll shoot an arrow continuously on both sides. And then the slicer, which will only shoot one direction at a time, but does something very similar where, it's like shooting buzzsaws, like you said. So I'll get either 2 of the same of those, because you can have 2, special items, or 1 of each. And then I'll, like you said, go with like a freeze item. And then for my third item, I'll go with like, if I can get the Molotovs, I'll get those. So, I'm dropping 2 slicers. I'm throwing ice bombs, and then I'm throwing, or bow and arrow. Then I'm throwing Molotovs, or I'm shooting arrows. Like it's all range. I literally will have nothing for myself to fight close range.
No, because it gets harder.
Yeah.
Because they take a lot of damage. And another thing, just to add real quickly, that adds another level in this game is the specific type of statistics that the weapons have. You can burn enemies, you can freeze enemies, there's poison damage, there's damage for knockback against a wall, and there's certain items that will buff itself. So if you freeze an enemy, this one will do 150% more damage based on the skill that's attached to it. So based on that, you combine what works for you. Some of it is random, and then you can actually pay money, because there's a money system in this game, to have the chance to change up how the builds are.
Yeah,
and
what
so
the statistics are.
So there's definitely a deep layer inside of this, and the enemies are tough sometimes, and then they have elite enemies that make them stronger. Then there's an item that you can actually run into an enemy to make it an elite, to guarantee you a blueprint. So there's a lot of cool stuff in this game.
Cool. So what makes this game stand out? Again, we briefly discussed a little bit and talked about the fact that there's a lot of these type of Metroidvanias. I mean, the term Metroidvania came around because Metroid and Castlevania were so freaking popular with, every other game that was a platformer / I don't know, Metroid or Castlevania clone, that is what the title became. So, the industry has tons of games, especially in this day and age, with indie games being able to be produced so easily, or more easily than in the past. There's tons of games that try to be this. Why does this one independent game stand out to such a strong degree?
Well, just that genre is making a comeback. A lot of stuff is making comebacks, a lot of older stuff. You look at Octopath Traveler, it's the comeback of kind of the 16-bit graphic looks, and you can make a dazzling game based on an older look.
Yeah.
And Dead Cells is a game that is similar and takes a lot of nods from other games, but is at the same time not like any other game. You have roguelike games where it's just like, 1001 Spikes, or Spelunky, where it's just like, okay, you're dead in this hit. and then you just replay it, and you just, Binding of Isaac is another game that's, like that.
SteamWorld Dig.
But this game takes a lot of different pieces from different areas and says, okay, we're going to take this over here. We're going to take a speedrunning element. We're going to take this rogue element. We're going to take this customization element, and it meshes it all together, puts it in a blender, and it spits out a beautiful product. And the game is challenging, and it really shows you what a developer can do to make a lot of older pieces fit together into something brand new. And for this game to do what it does and to be unlike any other, but that feels like another game, is something that I think is very hard to pull off. I'm glad they did it, because I think more developers need to really take a look at what they're trying to make in a product and then fine tune it to what they want it to be. And if you do it where you do it right by you guys, not because of what other people tell you to do. You do it because this is a game that you want to make. Then it comes out to be a wonderful product. I
think that's exactly what it is. Is Motion Twin Studios made a game that they wanted to make. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to look at the palace, the second and last level. There's a lot of nods to other games in there.
A lot.
And it was games that they care about. It was things that they cared about. It wasn't all to do with Metroid or Castlevania or anything in that genre, but there was some. But they put their heart and soul to give nods to things that they enjoyed. That this is a labor of love. And they did take a lot of ideas from other games in this genre, but they also had a lot of games in there, a lot of things that were completely new. Most games don't have speedrunning built into it as a risk reward type thing. They did. They had a completely awesome runtime calculator where it shows you your accurate runtime, and it even pauses for pieces where it needs to pause.
Yeah.
Things like that. Like or even just that system with your couple of weapons where it forces you to learn every weapon, because hey, like on this stage, on this run, you may not get that bow that you like. You may not get a sword that you like. You only have these options. So, you got to make some tough choices and figure it out. With it. Those kind of things, most Metroidvanias don't do. Once you get a certain weapon in Castlevania or Metroid or Hollow Knight, that's your weapon. You have it until you're done with the game, usually. So I think that is what really sets them apart. Like, they took the best of what could be from the old stuff, but then they weren't afraid to put their own twists and really put their own twists and hammer them home.
Yeah, and it really enables you to try harder or change it up.
Yeah.
Because you'll die a lot.
You will.
And there'll be points where, like, there's so many different mechanics. There's a mechanic where you run into a treasure chest that's like, eat me. Or, punch me, see what I'm going to do. And it curses you, and then it's one hit kill no matter what until you kill a certain amount of enemies. So just the fact that gives you a risk reward where, I've died plenty of times where I'm like, yeah, I can defeat 10 enemies and not get hit. And then I get bombarded with bombs and I have no chance of escaping. And it's just like death.
Yeah.
Lost 80 cells.
Yeah, you're just done.
And then it's just the fact that all ties in together. Like each mechanic ties in together. And you haven't done this yet because you haven't beaten it yet. But once you beat the game, it unlocks 3 specific things. It makes the difficulty harder. It actually adds a different way you can attack enemies specifically. That's not part of the weapon slot. And there are doors. There's a bunch of doors that you knock on.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It unlocks a certain tier where if you have beaten the game once, you can unlock a certain amount of doors. And then you go into another door and it says you have to have 2 boss cells or 3 boss cells or 4. So it entices you, like the more you beat it, the more stuff that you have a chance to do or unlock.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of layers there. Last couple of questions here. What could they have done better? What would you change about the game if you could?
I didn't like the fact that you died a lot in the beginning. Like I was like, this sucks. But I treated it like an old school NES game where there were games like Mario where you lost all your lives. You literally had to start over.
Yeah.
But only in this case, you have 1 life and then you have to start over. So once I came around and understood the system, it all came together. And I think what they should have is some type of mini tutorial for those that are just new to this type of genre, new to roguelikes or new to that type of experience. Just because for those people that just don't understand, like it's meant to be hard on purpose.
Yeah.
And there's some statistics and there's some techniques to do to help you if you're a newcomer, but they don't tell you that, which is part of the charm for gamers like us that know that. But for those that don't, I think there's a way to kind of encourage them and soften them up before you hit them with the blow.
Yeah. I would have liked for them to have a few more enemy types. You know, every stage has their pretty much guaranteed enemies, but they're not very varied. So you know going into each level what you have to do, what you're going to face, and then the tactics you need to defeat those things. So I feel like the same way that they had the whole game as far as the map be roguelike or roguelite, whatever you want to kind of, wherever camp you want to put it in. I wish the enemies would have also been that way. Like if there were some enemies, maybe 1 to 2, maybe more every stage that maybe you don't see. Like maybe instead of a wizard on, you know, the rampart stage, maybe you get knights who have like some crazy long sword or I don't know, something. And maybe every now and again you get some random thing where you get, I don't know, a guy who can throw spear. I don't know, whatever, but just more randomness for enemies because that would have made the game more challenging.
A bit more variety. Yeah, because you're right. You know what enemies are going to show up in which stage. So you have, like in the palace, you know the tough enemies are there. So you know how to prepare depending on your build. So you just throw traps and then you wait.
Yeah.
And then you throw an arrow and then you wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got you.
Cool. All right. Final thoughts on Dead Cells. You know, where do you place it as far as how much you like it?
I like it a lot. It's one of the best indie games I've played in a while, next to Celeste. It's a totally different genre in a way, but there aren't a whole lot of indie games that really impress me. I like a whole bunch of games because I'm, you know, like you always give me a hard time because I don't grade anything lower than a 7,
right?
Half the time, I do though.
It's true.
I don't grade 2s. Like you have to be really bad to get a 2. But this is a game that has really impressed me and is definitely on the top of my list. Above, I feel this is more of a close to AAA product as an indie title.
Yeah, I agree. I think Dead Cells definitely has a lot of polish to it that you don't get from most independent games. You know, it was in Kickstarter getting kicked around for a while. I think this has been a project for over 2 years. So it took a long time for it to come to fruition and the people who paid money to get it done to get their product. But it was worth it. The game is definitely fun. There's a lot of replayability in it. And while the game isn't super long in and of itself, because if you could do it in one run, you would probably be able to finish the game in less than an hour. But because the difficulty is so high and then there's so many things to replay the game for, you will get many hours out of it. I would say most people aren't walking away with the game and putting it down, done or not, with less than 15 hours of gameplay. Just because the game is super fun, super challenging. Yeah, you're gonna, if you like platforming in any sense of the word, if you like, you know, challenging games in any sense of the word, you will enjoy this game.
I wonder what my total runtime is. I actually haven't looked at the stats because you can look at stats on how many times you've been to which level and how many times you've died, how many times you've killed enemies.
Yeah, it tracks how many of each enemy have killed you. So like, it's surprising because you think you died a lot. And I know you think you have, but when you look at that sheet of like, okay, a zombie has killed me, one time. A guy, you know, the wizard has killed me, I've only died from 2 wizards. Like, you look at those things and you're like, wow, like I haven't had as many runs as I think I have. Like, I bet you haven't had more than 50 runs. Bet you haven't.
I played a lot of this game. I bet you I have.
Maybe. But, yeah, I like the game a lot. So cool. That's our spotlight on Dead Cells by Motion Twin Studios. Definitely go check it out. It's on every platform, PC, Xbox One, PS4, and the Nintendo Switch. So yeah, give it a shot. It's $20 to $25 depending on
20. Yeah. Is it $20 on other platforms?
Depending on where you pick it up, it is $20. If you had pre-ordered it, it was $20 on Xbox One and PS4. It currently sits at $24.99 right now.
Totally worth $25.
Yes, agreed. All right, guys, it's time for the speed run. So every week we break down 7 news stories and fun facts that didn't make the list for a full segment. We give ourselves 1 minute per topic before we move on to the next one. Finished or not, gotta go fast.
Garrett didn't go fast enough
in the speed run.
He's gone.
Twitch is hosting the Ultimate Marathon by live streaming Pokemon starting August 27th. This marathon includes over 900 episodes across 19 seasons and 16 movies.
This almost made my best news.
This is crazy.
This is the biggest one. The last big one was Power Rangers, right?
Yeah, they had a huge marathon there as well. This
is going to take like a month to finish.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, how do they get the rights for this? Like, how do you determine that?
I don't know, but they're making it work. Like, how do you get the rights from Saban to do Power Rangers? Like, you know how many seasons were in Power Rangers?
Well, I mean, I think at this point, Saban doesn't even own Power Rangers.
No, he sold it in the last couple of years. But this is cool. I mean, this is great for people that want to catch up. I think most of the viewership will be the beginning of the Pokemon series and then towards the back end. I don't think anyone's going to really care about the middle.
Right.
Definitely season 1, you're going to get people like you and I that are like, man, let me go back.
Yeah.
Pikachu doesn't talk in this one. He doesn't say human things.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about that.
This is pretty cool. I mean, I won't watch very much of it, but I like that they're giving people the option to kind of hop into this. So, that in and of itself is good. Next.
Oh, you gotta do it.
Next.
There you go. The long-running show The Big Bang Theory will end next year in 2019 as it comes up on its 12th and final season. This has been around for 12 years. Can you believe that?
Yeah, man, that is crazy.
Longer than Friends. Friends was 10 seasons.
Yeah, I never thought that it would get to this point. I've only watched the first 5 seasons or so, and I kind of fell off. But now that it's done, I'll hop in it.
I fell off in the middle of season... Actually, I think I watched all the way through the end of 7.
Okay,
I haven't watched... Far. Yeah, I mean, I liked it a lot. And then it kind of fell off a little bit in 6 and 7. I still think season 1 and 2 are the best ones up to that point.
Yeah, I like the fact that in those early seasons, they really hammered home the straight awkward weirdness of nerds. And they slowly made them just more normal, which, I mean, is fine.
I mean, you grow and develop over time.
I've always hated that they made them have, like, super hot girlfriends. Like,
you said that.
Yeah, because not everyone's going to have a super hot girlfriend, like, or boyfriend. Like, it's just not going to happen. Like, so to have every one of these so-called Big Bang Theory nerds have a hot girlfriend is just not.
It's the show, man.
Next.
TV.
Ubisoft says it will not be releasing a new Assassin's Creed game in 2019.
I'm happy about this.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good thing for them just because, there's too many series that are serialized yearly. Call of Duty and Madden and FIFA and Forza has a game every year. Just, it doesn't always make it so that the game gets time to breathe.
Yeah, a lot of fatigue. I'm actually surprised that Odyssey looks as great as it does coming a year after Origins. To have a couple studios work back-to-back AAA quality games like that, it's like, dang. Like, we don't even have time to play all these other games, let alone back-to-back Assassin's Creeds.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's something they're looking at too. Like, how many people probably finished Origins? Probably not many.
Especially with the gameplay change.
Yeah. It made it more open world to where you really could just explore and not have to worry about completion.
Work on another game.
Yeah.
Like, make a new IP.
That would be a smart move. Or bring in 2 studios. I don't know. Do the Call of Duty thing.
No. I haven't played Assassin's Creed since 1. It's the only one that I've played.
Long time. Next!
Okay. I like that song.
Next!
So The Office is coming back to TV, but it will not be including Steve Carell as part of its cast.
So this is confirmed because I read a lot about this potentially happening, but I wasn't sure it was actually taking place.
Yeah, there was a lot of rumors on if it was going to come back. They're working on it, but yeah, no, it's coming back for sure. Steve Carell's not going to do it, probably because he doesn't want to. He's already had his time.
Yeah, plus, I mean, at the end, the show had an ending. Like, I don't know what else they can do.
It's a different Office. I don't think it's going to be tied to...
whole new cast.
I think so. Like, they haven't confirmed that. I think it would be better to do that. Just a whole new cast, whole new office, whole new building, whole new city, whole new air, like new everything. Don't try to latch. Maybe you have 1 or 2 guest characters return, but
I don't think I'm gonna like this very much. I mean, let live and let live, or die and let die. I guess like the show had a sputtering of an ending. It wasn't bad, but. After season 6 or 7 or so, it definitely had a downward trend. So, I don't know how this is going to fare.
Yeah, we'll see.
Next! Idris Elba says that he will not be playing as James Bond in the next espionage installment for 007.
I wonder if they were really in talks with him to play as Bond.
I feel like maybe this was just an internet thing because I don't recall him ever saying anything about it other than people saying it for him.
Yeah, like people want me to be Bond.
Right, yeah. That's not the same thing as him saying or someone from the studio saying, yeah, we are in talk with Elba.
Yeah.
So
he probably was just like, yeah, no. Or he could be trolling us. There's a lot of people that do that now.
What's funny, that is very true. What's funny is as popular as Idris Elba is, like he doesn't have like a flagship series behind him, right? Like
not that I know of.
I mean, Pacific Rim would be or Luther, his television show he was on Those are only 2 things, and those aren't like huge things, you know?
No, he's in a decent amount of stuff, but he's not like an everyman.
Yeah, I mean, he like if you look at like, all right, if you think of Tom Cruise, I mean, you can think of a point of like old school Tom Cruise, right, with like Top Gun,
Yep,
and Risky Business, and then you got like newer Cruise where it's like Mission Impossible's all over the place.
Yeah,
or like you look at The Rock, he's got like certain movies, but like it just doesn't have like a this is or like Bruce Willis has, you know, his movies, Die Hard,
yep,
Sixth Sense. What's an Idris movie you can say that's his calling card?
Yeah, he died in Thor.
He did. He did.
Thor would be the one. He's
right?
Heimdall, but
he's Heim dead. Next,
within a matter of moments, let me try it again. Within a matter of moments, Sony sold out of their limited edition 500 million PS4. It was an exclusive console. Only 50,000 of these systems are being made. So I think this is dumb that they're limiting it to 50,000 to celebrate selling 500 million.
Yeah, that's kind of
like don't do the Nintendo thing with Amiibos and any other like short-lived product.
It's working, man. They sold 50,000 units in seconds.
Remember when they had the 20th anniversary?
That was a beautiful console.
Yeah, and it was like we didn't get it here, but like this is a beautiful console too for the PS4 Pro.
Yeah,
you can still get the accessories. I forgot this went live this morning or last night at midnight.
I mean, you weren't gonna buy one.
No, but after seeing all the hype, I'm like, it does look nice. But no, I wouldn't have bought one.
Yeah,
I do want a Pro though.
Yeah,
but I don't need one.
No. Yeah, it does kind of stink that they would do this, and there's such a misleading title to say 500 million PS4, only 50,000 of them. Like, it's just very misleading.
Yeah, and half of these are going to go up online to sell for however many
$4,000, $5,000.
Yeah, especially because of the limited quantity.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem and not okay.
They say you can buy accessories, but what else can you buy besides the controller?
I don't know, man.
Charging port going to be translucent blue?
Maybe. Next. Microsoft may be including a bundle that includes a new Xbox One X tied with its Xbox Live Gold subscription for 2 years. What? Like,
it's not even, I don't know. I read this and it's deemed worthy, but I don't know how they're going to bundle it like some type of cable service where like, here's your system. You can only get this system if you get the service to go with it. Like phone companies do that, you know, get the phone, get the service, or vice versa.
I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, that actually would be a way to get people to buy consoles. Like, hey, if you buy it within this time or buy this bundle, you get the service for free for X amount of years. It's just weird. I don't know. It's just something different and new I'd never expected. So
I don't know how you're going to force people to play online when half the games are offline.
Yeah, I mean, also you get free games. So there's that. Like, every month you get 3 to 4 free games.
Yeah, and then if you get Game Pass, you got a lot more than that.
Yeah, it ramps up. I mean, I really don't know what to say about this. Like, we'll see how well it does. That's it.
Yeah, Halo Anniversary's on there. The whole collection.
It's a pretty good one. Next, or end.
Yep,
it's
over.
It's normally Garrett's thing. I'm not normally doing this.
Rolling in his grave right now.
That's speedrun, guys. Garrett, you're missed, man. We need you for that ending part. All right, guys, it is time for Superpower. So every week at the end of the episode, we discuss what's going on with us outside of the podcast, what we're into, what we're playing, what we're doing for a couple of minutes, and of course, give each other stupid superpower.
He butchered it twice.
Look, okay,
2 weeks in a row.
I'm not doing it on purpose. And give each other.
I'm gonna do it. Okay, redo it. I'm gonna do it because we're on video.
And give each other
superpowers.
Stupid superpowers for better or for worse.
All 2 weeks in a row, man.
I'm sorry. I had about 2 weeks off for the birth of my baby, so things were a little hectic, but I'm getting back into the.
You got notes, man. You got notes.
I do have notes. I should know that.
It's just like when you used to mess up all the games and say all the wrong names.
I did do that quite a bit. Yeah, we always learn.
Anymore. You don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I don't. So gaming for me right now, I'm playing a lot of Dead Cells, really enjoying that. I was so close to beating it. I got to like the hand of the king or the concierge, whatever.
You got to the throne room?
I got to the throne room and like put the shield on the king and I fought him. And I just kept falling in the stupid spikes. Like,
yeah, it takes a lot of damage.
Yes, it hurts a lot. I realize now that I need to have a shield. Like, the shields really help.
I'm sure it does. In the beginning, I played the shield, but I was like, there's so much more you can do besides block. And I'm not one to play defensive. I'm always offensive, which is why I probably die a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's challenging. And then in the hard mode, the bosses have an extra kind of phase, I guess, where they do a different attack they didn't do before. And I didn't know that. And I could have beat him had I. There's cues. Like most of the time, there's cues, and there's one cue I didn't see. And when I died, I was like, I didn't see you do that.
Aww.
Until I died. Had I looked for that, because I didn't think it was going to do it that early into the phase, I probably would have beat him because I had a killer loadout.
Yeah.
Killer loadout.
It feels so good when you have a good loadout, and then when you die, I don't want to play anymore. I want to put the controller down and walk away. Yeah.
Quick question. Have you had it where the game glitched out on you and it took you back to the home screen?
No.
It's happened to me like 3 or 4 times. And I think it's just because because you have to be connected to the online for some of the stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'd be in the middle of the game and then all of a sudden it just kicks me out to the dashboard. But the good thing about that game is it takes you to the beginning of the level you were on rather than you just have to start over. Yeah. Which the times that happened, I was like 1 or 2 minutes into a level rather than I'm at the end and I have to redo literally everything I just did.
Yeah, that would suck.
It sucks.
All right, well that's pretty much it for me, man. Other than that, just playing Dead Cells. I'm trying to watch Disenchanted on Netflix, the new animated show from Matt Groening, who is the creator of The Simpsons and Futurama. And like I like the show, but like I cannot stay awake. Like I've watched episode 2 like at least 8 times, and I just don't understand. I cannot keep myself awake.
Are you watching at the end of your day?
No, man. Like I just at any point, like I watched it this morning and fell asleep. I just fell asleep. But whatever.
They need to change the name.
Yeah. I don't know. Enchanting me. All right. So your superpower, JG. All right, here we go. So you have the ability to touch any device like a phone or a laptop or an iPad or whatever and put your finger on the slot where the charger is at, and your finger just magically emits an electrical signal and begins to charge the device at a rapid pace. But the faster you charge, the more pain you feel, like electric shock. So you can keep all your devices charged and you can keep it slow like a normal charger, or you can go faster, but you get more pain. So at first, if it's a regular charger, you get a little tingle, like you're feeling a tingle, like a little bit of pain, like someone's kind of making your finger and your hand go to sleep. Then it just scales up from there. But yeah, always get electrocuted.
This is almost similar to a superpower you gave Garrett. The only difference is he got his life force zapped, and now I get to feel pain and endure pain.
Yes, but you get to charge. All your devices will be at 100%.
Okay. So can I power a device without having it being plugged in? For example, I can play my Xbox on the go.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you could. But I mean, the power to do that, you'd be hurting, man.
Oh,
it'd be like someone
I gotta do.
Sticking you with a needle in your hand again and again and again and again. So, but you could do it.
I'll just beef up on the Vicodin.
If it matters that much to you to play on the go.
Whatever I got to do. All right, I already know what your power is. But first, my week. A lot of Dead Cells. Lots and lots and lots of Dead Cells. Haven't watched any TV, actually. Been catching up on some sports stuff. Basketball's almost here.
Yes.
Month and a half.
Football's almost here.
Yeah, I'm more into basketball
2 weeks, I think. So
yeah, there's a lot of stuff shaking down in the football realm. Isn't it? Is it who still doesn't have a job?
Kaepernick.
No, not yeah, Kaepernick.
He'll never get a job in the NFL again.
No, who's the other one?
You're talking
Des Bryant?
Yeah, Des Bryant's not going to get picked up by anybody.
That sucks.
He's not that good.
Yeah, he had a
overrated.
I think he should have a job, but I don't know. He's going to be on the sidelines this year. But anyway, so I started I picked up Octopath again yesterday. I think I have 3 more chapters. I'm guessing there's only 4 chapters per character. Mm-hmm. So it's weird. My main character is Hannet. I finished her 4th chapter and the credits rolled. And I'm like, so is the game over? The game shouldn't be over. But I guess when you finish the last chapter or the 4th chapter with the character you pick in the beginning, the credits roll. And the cool thing about the credits, and this is going to spoil it for some people, is it'll replay like battle encounters that you've had throughout the game. And they're mainly boss encounters or like characters that had a role in the story that you end up having to fight anyway. And what it does is it takes the last hit to defeat that boss, and it takes it actually from the gameplay you had throughout the game. So if you're playing a character and you hit them with this first boss with an arrow to defeat the thing in the woods, it actually replays that for like the 3 or 4 seconds. And it does that for every single major boss fight that I could recall in that game.
So what
through
about
the credits?
What about all those battles where like I call a townsperson to come and shoot an arrow or whatever? Like
If that was the last kill, yeah, and it actually happened to me. I actually had one where I was like, is this actually from my gameplay? There was one where all my characters were confused. That was actually a townsperson that was sitting there while my dancer was just kind of hanging out, like kneeling because she's about to die. And then the last one had a character that was down. They did. And it was the same thing. So I was like, that's pretty cool that they implemented that in the credits. But then after that, it's like, okay, now we're done with the story. Finn, and now you can have your main character not be in the party anymore.
That's good.
Which is something I wanted from the beginning of the game, but now it's the highest level character by like 10 levels.
Right, because
there's no point not having you in the party.
You know?
So I want to try to finish that as quickly as I can so I can move on to Spider-Man. Spider-Man's like 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
Nice.
Look forward to that. That's about it.
Cool.
I'm debating whether I want to watch the, what's it, Happy Time Murders?
Yeah. I'm going to watch that bad boy faux show.
I want to watch it. I think it's going to be ridiculously stupid, and it's got pretty decent reviews.
I'm going to watch it.
It's very adult themed and very adult oriented. It's like 21 Jump Street with Sesame Street and a lot of innuendos and crazy stuff happening. So I'll probably go see it. Johnny, your superpower. I didn't like yours. I'll just say it right now. I didn't like yours because we've already done it.
Sorry.
To a degree, but it's okay. Your superpower. You have the ability where you sometimes forget your personal keys and you can't open your doors. Like, if like you forget your keys at home, you're like, crap, I locked myself out. You have the ability where you can unlock doors only for keys that you personally have, but you can only unlock them with your big toe.
Huh.
So say you forget your keys, you can't open your front door because your keys are lost somewhere. You have to somehow manage your big toe. Your big toe can form into a key and then you slide that through the key lock. So however you can get your big toe up on the door.
But only for my own keys.
Only for your own keys.
Dang, man.
I'm learning my lesson with each superpower that I give you. Especially the one last week where Garrett was like, Joshua, what are you doing?
Dang it.
Yeah, I had to come up with some type of little niche area there. How can Johnny not be a villain in this?
All right.
So if you somehow come across jail keys and they're yours, yeah, then you can get yourself out of jail.
All right, fine. Cool. Well, that's not going to be useful for my villainy. I can't find. There might be some ways. I'll figure it out.
You will try.
I'll try.
Your
to make
power
this
will be
villainous.
over next week by the time you try to figure something out.
Yeah, I can't think of anything right now. I'm trying to see if there's like some kind of scam I could have where I could call like a tow truck guy to come unlock my car and then like he can't and like maybe sue them, maybe something like that. I'll figure it out. I don't know.
Okay, I'm not even going to get into it.
Yeah.
Pointless. Wasted conversation.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that is the show for this week. We hopefully you had a good time. We always have a good time. It's always a blast just chatting with you guys and you guys being a part of the show. Bro Op number 3 here with Joshua and myself.
Yep.
We'll see you back next week, Garrett, most likely. If we can get you back from Bowser.
If he escapes.
Yeah.
What do you think his escape plan is?
Wait for us to go get him. Like Garrett's not the type to risk anything. He's not going to risk his life.
They're going to come for me. They're going to show up.
Yeah, that's about it. Get in here, Garrett. Yes, sir, Bowser. That's about it. All right, guys. Before we head out of here, as always, if you'd like to help out the show, you can do so in a number of ways. First and foremost, leave a review wherever you happen to be listening to the podcast. Doing that helps us get a little bit more notice from Apple or from Stitcher, from Google Play, wherever you happen to be listening. Just kind of makes us rise in the ranks. So do that, and it goes a long way to give us a couple stars, 5 stars, whatever you want, and say some kind words or some honest words, whatever you want. Tell friends and family about us is number 2. That is the biggest way, word of mouth, that helps our show grow. You tell someone that is going to enjoy it, think it's cool, funny, interesting, educational, whatever. That's gonna help us grow just because you care, and other people that might listen are going to care. And then lastly, chat with us, guys. Go to Twitter at SuperCoopSquad or reach out to us on by email, contact@scspodcast.net. There you can chat with the team or us individually and just have some fun communicating with us in a different way. Again, you can chat with us individually. My name is Twitter at JohnnyMac24.
Yep, and my Twitter handle is Eternal Red Gamer.
Yep. And I don't know whatever Garrett is.
That would be GJL3275.
That's correct. All right, cool. Well, as always, guys, I'm Johnny Mac.
I'm Joshua.
And Garrett, we'll see you next week.
Bye, Garrett.